Dear Fuji, we have to talk, and we have to talk about Sony. Welcome back, guys. Today, I want to emphasize my concerns about where Fuji is going with their X system in the years to come. And before we get into all of that, let me just clarify, I'm not switching to Sony now or anytime soon for economical reasons, for reasons that basically I don't really need what Sony is doing differently from Fuji right now. But as a Fuji user, as a Fuji-centric channel, I feel like I have to highlight what I think others are doing better so that Fuji can listen to us, I hope, and try to address those things before they become out of control. And so let me just start with saying that I think right now Fuji sits in a limbo. Where they haven't really decided which way they want to go. We all know that Fuji started as a photography, the Fuji X system started as a photography-centric system. We all know that. Fuji neglected video up until, you can say this, the X-T2 or the X-H1, but really what made the real difference was the X-T3 and all the cameras that follow that. So until 2018, Fuji and video were not on the same, like they were talking to each other, but they were not friends. Starting from 2018, everything changed. The X-T3 all of a sudden became one of the most appreciated camera in the video market for mirrorless cameras out of the blue, like you could not expect it. And since then, Fuji has pushed that videos and photo, that hybridness, which is the keyword, that hybridness in their cameras as much as possible. There's still some gaps here and there. There's no touch to follow focus on video while there is in photos. It's something that I don't understand and it makes me mad. There's no waveform. There's stuff that can be done a little bit better. But those things have happened in the GFX, the 100 Mark II. So I believe those either via firmware update or in the newer camera are going to trickle down to the X system. So those concern me a lot less. What is really concerning me is what Fuji is doing in the lenses market. So let's just start with the cameras. Cameras in the Fujifilm lineup are, from a hybrid standpoint, are doing great. X-H2S is one of the best cameras around when it comes to hybridness. S20, X-T4 before, X-T3, the XS10, they're all, and even the smaller cameras are doing great as far as delivering both in photos and videos. Even the X-T5, which is the photographer's camera, is still a good video camera. It's not the best in the Fujifilm lineup, but it's still a good video camera. And the X Pro 4 or whatever that is going to be, it's going to be a decent video camera, although it's going to be probably a photographer's camera as well. So I'm not concerned about the cameras, especially now that the autofocus has come a long way. There's still a gap. It would be stupid not to admit it. I tried the Sony A7R5 with the 16 to 35, and it would give you that trust that you still lack from Fuji. Although at the end of the day, the footage comes out good, but the stickiness of the autofocus, the continuous autofocus in Sony is a bit better. But the gap has narrowed down a lot. I now trust my Fujifilm cameras when it comes to track focusing. So focus tracking, sorry. So I'm not concerned about that. I'm okay with the cameras. I'm so okay with the cameras that I would go as far as saying that probably, since the X-H2 and the X-H2S have been launched in 2022, they should not be replaced until 2025. I believe the camera game has got to a point where the need to continuously update the body itself has come to a plateau where you don't really need a 2-year cycle. You can live with a 3-year cycle. And this is going to become helpful when we're going to talk about lenses, which is my main concern. Talking about lenses, Fuji has always been known for making very good lenses for photography. And the thing is still true nowadays. However, since the Fujifilm system started to today, there are gaps that have never been covered. There's no 16 to 35 f2.8 equivalent. There's the 10 to 24. There have been two versions of the 10 to 24, but that is f4. The other f2 options that you have is the 16 to 35, the 8 to 16, which is wider, yes, but it's bigger. It's got the front element that doesn't allow you to use filters easily and all of that. You don't have a lens that is a staple in every other brand's catalog. Also, if you look at, like, there's no primes on the telephoto end. I believe a 400 f4 or a 500 f4 has to be available for the Fuji system, because only the 100 to 400 or the 150 to 600 cannot be it. And the fact that they went with the 200 f2 was a weird choice to begin with, and it probably didn't pay off. And I believe they didn't focus on those lenses because of what came out of the 200 f2. I believe that was just a bad choice of focal length and aperture. But even more down-to-earth lenses, like Sony sells full-frame cameras. Their main focus is full-frame cameras. Yet, they released very intelligent lenses for the APS-C system. How long have we been asking for a 10mm f2 in Fuji? Since forever. Well, Sony, out of the blue, came up with the 11 1.8. It's the lens that we always wanted for Fuji. Sony, that doesn't have too much interest in the APS-C line, they came up with that. Also, there's nothing like beyond the 14mm f2.8, there's no primes, there's nothing that is faster than that, there's no astrophotography lenses for the Fujifilm system. Sony has them. There's gaps that have never been covered, and it starts to be concerning, the reason why they're not covering it. But again, in general for photography, the Fujifilm system is still a very good system. It used to be among the best, now others are catching up. Sony is definitely is running away with lenses availability. But I'm not concerned mainly when it comes to photography. Although, again, now for me, I swapped a lot of Fuji lenses with the Tamron lenses and other third-party lenses. I had the Viltros 13 f4, f1.4. Now my setup for landscape is Tamron 11 to 20, Tamron 70 to 70, and Fuji 70 to 300. So 2/3 of my photography setup, normal everyday photography setup, is made of third-party lenses, which is concerning for Fuji. The fact that I chose to go third-party when I'm legacy lenses addicted, it's concerning. Of course, I still have the 18 f1.4 that is recording me now, as I have the 56 f1.2, because those are incredible lenses. But my everyday lenses are third-party, and that is a problem. But it's not the main problem. The main problem sits with the hybridness of the lenses. What Sony did right is they started the hybrid revolution, and they embraced it since the get-go. And so what they're doing is not only doing great hybrid cameras, although I believe, autofocus aside, the X-H2S is unbeatable when it comes to hybridness, but they give you the lenses that make the difference when it comes to video. The fact that you have great photography lenses that work with video is a good thing in Fuji, but those lenses lack a few things that make a real difference in the day-to-day hybridness life. Stupid things such as a smooth focus transition. What I'm saying is, if I put my hand over here and then back to me, in this case, probably the footage was smooth enough that you would not notice. But in general, Fujifilm lenses are a little bit jumpy in these conditions. Sony lenses are always smooth when it comes to focus transition. But more than that, another thing is the clickable aperture ring, and so the fact that the aperture can move in a fluid way. It's something like Fuji came up with the aperture ring before anybody else in the mirrorless market. Sony only added it later, but they did it better because the aperture moves. You can have the clickable aperture when you're shooting pictures because you don't need it to be fluid, but then you can declick it and have a very fluid movement of the aperture blades as you're recording video. Those things that may seem stupid are key to make that little bit of a difference in the day-to-day, in your day-to-day life when it comes to having one setup for both photos and videos. You have a great setup for photos with Fuji, but that setup is probably not good enough or not as good as what Sony is giving you when it comes to video. And so what I would like to see is more hybrid focused lenses. They came up with the 18-120, which was supposed to be like the first lens of a generation that would go toward that direction, but they fucked it up. It's hard not to say that. I like that lens, although I sold it, but if you're giving me a power zoom lens that goes from 18 to 120, but in between the zooming range, as I'm zooming, the light gathering changes, you're making it unusable. At least you're making it unusable in its entire range. You gotta use it between those two steps. That's stupid. Like, it's not possible that we only realized it as users and they didn't. They knew it and they decided not to walk the extra mile to get that fixed. Also, the same lens had that issue, by the way, my review is over here, that issue where if you're on the telephoto and you're focusing and then you zoom out and then zoom in, you don't lose the focus. But if you focus while you're in the wide angle settings, then as you zoom in, you lose focus. Those are stupid things. But those stupid things make the difference between having a fully usable lens for both photos and videos, because that was not bad for photos, and a lens that it's kind of meh. I tried the 16-35 f4 power zoom with the A7R5, and that lens was smooth. Whether for photos or videos, I didn't have to worry about anything. Another lens that is super smart is the 20-70 f4. It's a lens that is a dream for those who don't need f2.8 and just want to do everything with one lens. Sony is doing it. Fujifilm is not. We have the 16-55, which is 8 years old, 9 years old. That has to be renewed, but it hasn't been renewed just yet. And I want that lens, once it's renewed, to be the first lens that says, okay, we embraced it. That we embraced the hybridness. This lens is going to give you the best photos and the best videos experience you've ever had with Fuji. But until I see that, I'm concerned because I don't know what Fuji is going to do in that regard. So, in conclusion, I still love the Fujifilm system, but nowadays, I think I mentioned before, the business is going towards merging photography and videography. And Fuji hasn't embraced that yet. While cameras are getting really good, and I have no concerns with the cameras, the lenses have to step up their game. I want Fuji to invest all of their R&D for now in lenses and come up with a brand new roadmap that is gonna scream. We realized that we were leaving some things behind, and we're gonna get it fixed, and we're gonna fix it right now. Give us those small vlogging lenses that we don't have. give like the 11 f1.8 or 10 f2, whatever it is. Give us those hybrid lenses that are gonna work perfectly with small bodies like XS20 or even XH2S. We need lenses that scream hybrid, because there's no point in thinking that the two things need to be separated. Right now, the market is going that route. It's hard for one person to be just a photographer or just a videographer unless you're working in a highly specialized environment or big studios where everyone has like their own thing. But the normal everyday photographer has to be able to shoot videos, because you are requested to. Normally what happens to me is, yeah, we gotta shoot pictures of this, but I want the reel for Instagram. We gotta shoot video for that, but we want the picture to go with it. So you gotta be able to do both. And having one system that does everything great is key to maximize your income. You don't want to have, and also your knowledge of the cameras, because you get to know, nowadays cameras are so complicated that getting to know them takes a long time. You don't want to have two different systems for two different things. If you can do everything with one, it's going to make your life super, super easy. So again, I'm still a Fuji user. I want to stay with Fuji, but sometimes my eye goes towards Sony. I cannot afford having a system swap right now, and it's not easy anyways. Again, an XH2S costs less than half of an A1 from Sony, so it's not economically doable for me at least. But I would like for Fuji to realize that if we're partners and I'm starting to look at others, it may be my problem, okay? But also it may be that you're relaxing too much and you're taking me for granted. You don't want your customer to be taken for granted, because that's the way you start losing customers. You should strive to not only keep your customers, but also attract others. And you will do that by challenging Sony in their own market. Otherwise, I see something like Olympus or maybe Pentax in the future, and I don't want to see that, because I like Fuji so much that I think they don't deserve it. Guess that's it for today. Subscribe if you liked it. Also, I recorded this video with another camera. It's not my XH2S that I usually use. I'll let you guess in the comments below which camera it is. Let me know in the comments, what do you think, if I'm going completely crazy with my request to Fujifilm, or if there's something true behind it. And again, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Ciao.